What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? We are back with Horizon Forbidden West. Gonna come into the base, talk to Gaia, and advance the main plot here. But before we do that, I'm gonna make the rounds, talk to everybody here at base, because, everybody wants to talk. Katalo, whatever his name is, has a mission for us to complete with his prosthetic arm. So I'm just gonna turn the commentary off, do the usual, go talk to everybody here at base, and then we'll go talk to Gaia and get the main mission progressing. There was one last thing I wanted to say. I will put in the comments a timestamp of when we're done with this and when we get into the actual meat of the episode. And, yeah, break.
What are you? Aloy!
Right to work, I see.
There's just so much. I mean, we knew of artificial beings that served the ancestors, but Gaia? Oh, she's amazing! And you, a true reincarnation of an ancestor. Genetically speaking, of course, not like the, late CO. And there's more ancestors out there, returned from beyond the stars. Of course, they're trying to kill us, which is not great. And Eric Visser is with them, which is disturbing. And then there's Hephaestus, and...
Okay. How about we take it one step at a time?
You're right. I also owe you an explanation for everything that happened at Landfall.
I see you've been using your new focus.
It's been fascinating. So much better than the version the Quen have. What would have taken me years to sort through, like the database you helped me recover, with this, I've been able to establish search parameters to speed up the process. This could revolutionize how diviners analyze the legacy. That is, whatever part of it the Overseers would actually let us study.
You wanted data, you'll find lots of it here.
A diviner has never had this sort of unsupervised access to archives such as this. And knowing you, I suspect there is much that would normally be forbidden held within them. But I was sent here to help you. I would be remiss to ignore any truth laid before me. Maybe it'll help the Quen find their way back to the path of truth.
I imagine you don't know anyone here that well yet, but they're a good group.
It's funny because one of your friends is, well, another you. Not that you are the same person at all. I mean, you are, as in, you're both genetically Elizabeth Sobek, but even so, you're different.
Yeah, we are. I hope everyone's been treating you okay.
Oh, yeah, of course. They've all been extremely welcoming. And they share the knowledge they learn on their focuses with each other freely. It's refreshing. Back home, diviners can only share data with the permission from the Overseers.
Sounds restrictive and stifling.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
You mentioned Eric Visser? How do you know about him?
The Zenith who tried to kill you? He is known to the Quen as the Protector. Combing through data related to his work led us to breakthroughs related to weapons and military tactics. Knowledge our rulers used to conquer and expand, to become the empire we are today. That's why he's one of our most revered ancestors. But based on your encounter with him, it appears he's even more ruthless than we ever imagined. Yet another distorted interpretation in the legacy.
Well, at least you're piecing together the truth.
If only the Overseers back home would do the same.
Beta mentioned other Zeniths. Tilda, Verbena, and Gerard.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. Whatever legacy they left behind, the diviners haven't recovered.
You said you owed me an explanation for what happened in Thebes. I'm listening.
Right. I'll start at the beginning with the CEO. He was an Imperial, the Emperor's nephew, in fact. As such, he sponsored many diviners to search the legacy for anything that might help the tribe, and himself. He took a special interest in anything related to Ted Faro, whom we consider the greatest of the ancestors.
Ted Faro, revered ancestor. That's tough to take.
I know better now, of course. Anyway, the diviners discovered that Faro spent a great deal of time in San Francisco. In fact, many of the most important ancestors did. So the Emperor's nephew convinced him that an expedition across the ocean might solve our most pressing problems. If only we could find the right data in this fabled city. Perhaps we could roll back the floods and storms that threatened our people. The Emperor declared that all the tribe's resources be poured into this endeavor. Dozens of ships were built, scouting missions were dispatched, and the Emperor's nephew was named Sio, one who wields the legacy for the good of the Empire. The living embodiment of Ted Faro, the Renewer. It may seem strange now, but for a time, he carried all of our hopes. We really believed he would save us. We had no idea just how perilous the journey would be.
You said the expedition across the sea was more dangerous than you thought it would be. What happened?
We lost most of our ships to hurricanes, and scores of soldiers perished to hunger and disease. And that was before we even hit the coast. Once we landed, machines ripped our patrols apart, and we struggled to replenish our rations. There were bright spots, to be sure. We found Thebes and the greenhouse, but nothing improved the CEO's mood as his dreams of saving the tribe were slowly dashed. He became more and more obsessed with Thebes and what lay behind its door, and more convinced that the title of CEO was no mere honorific. You heard him, spouting nonsense about Pharaoh's essence and some kind of becoming. We knew these weren't the words of a sane man, but he was quick to put any who spoke out in front of a firing squad.
What a great guy.
The Quen are wrong about many things when it comes to the legacy. I can see that now. But what the CO became was a complete perversion of what principled diviners stand for. The pursuit of truth. I'm sorry you had to endure his madness. I'm just glad it's over. For everyone.
So, Bohai, your overseer. Will he run things better than CEO?
He won't execute people on a whim, if that's what you mean. But he's hardly a paragon of integrity. I can't tell you how many times he took credit for data in the legacy that I uncovered. The best thing I can say about him is that he can be trusted to always do what's best for him.
Yep, sounds about right. Back at the greenhouse, you spoke of knowledge forbidden to your people.
Diviners are meant to seek out the truth in the legacy, and many Imperials sponsor them in the hopes they'll find something the Empire can put to use, thus gaining favor with the Emperor. But the Board of Overseers claims certain truths are detrimental to the stability of the Empire, like discovering one of our revered ancestors ended the world. That is why diviners are only allowed to access segments of the legacy. Only overseers can view it all. It ensures that any heretical data can be contained and retrieved before it can spread.
What happens to diviners who break the rules?
I never had the courage to ask.
The ancestors, is that what your people call the old ones?
Yes and no. The ancestors are the greatest of the old ones. Those whose legacy taught us agriculture, medicine, warfare, leadership, and patronage of the science and arts.
The CEO called Elizabeth Sobek an assistant. What's that about?
Right. Well, any old one who has made minor contributions or worked extensively under one of the ancestors is called an assistant. That's how we thought of Sobek, until we met you. Our limited access to data past the late 2040s has obviously misinformed our view of the past.
You mentioned the reason you came here was to help your family. Your sister...
Her name is Alika. Our parents are commoners, peasants, really. When I passed the divination exams, they were so proud. It brought honor to our family and increased rations. Only Alika begged me not to leave for the research academy.
Why? What happens there?
Alika knew that once you enter, you're not allowed to leave or see anyone, not even your family. Unless you can get special permission and an escort by an overseer.
It sounds harsh.
Like the focuses we keep, diviners are few in number, and the Empire is, well, fearful that outsiders will try to steal our knowledge. Last time I was allowed to see my family was just before our voyage here. Because of my position, I was able to get them refuge from the floods within the capital. But if our crops don't recover soon, they'll starve to death along with everyone else.
I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that. I need to get going, but if you need anything...
All I need is to help you succeed in your mission. The plan Gaia told me about, to capture Hephaestus, it will help set things right.
I hope so.
Then I will do whatever I can. I promise.
Aloy, well met. We've been briefed on our mission, and are ready whenever you wish to head to Cauldron Gemini.
Were you able to finish the new arm Gaia was helping you with?
Indeed. I was hoping we could discuss it, if you have a moment.
Have you spoken with Alva?
The Quen is peculiar. Nothing like a Tenakth. Her mind is sharp, that much is certain. But it's hard to imagine her surviving in the wilds.
Trust me, she's tougher than she looks.
I will take your word for it.
Did Aaron tell you we found the people who gave Regalla's rebels the power to override machines?
He told me of the battle. I suggested he etch this victory on his fighting arm with one of our inkers.
Is he going to do it?
He didn't say no.
How are your studies going?
I wanted to learn more about the world of the Old Ones.
And?
I looked up this pharaoh Gaia said you went looking for, and learned about the plague of machines he unleashed. To think that the ancient world was wiped out by... a mistake. A single miscalculation. There is no glory or honor in such a fate. Only hubris and pointless death.
That about sums it up. You wanted to talk about your arm?
Indeed. It's time to test it. And I want you to be there.
Okay. How are we doing this?
Not how. Where? Will you meet me where we felled Regalla's tremor tusk? Right where the river bends?
Sure, if you want, but I'm not sure I understand.
You'll see when we get there. I promise.
Then I'll let you know when I get close.
You have my thanks, Aloy.
I have to go now.
Then do not let me keep you.
Like I said, I'll call you when I'm close to Regalla's old outpost near the bulwark.
May the Ten guide your way.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Have you met our new Quen guest yet?
I could barely keep up as she gave herself a tour of the base. Varl gave her a new focus. Though when he told her she was free to access all the data we had here, she turned so pale I thought she'd faint on the spot. We showed her to the archive room so she could see for herself. She hasn't left the place since.
Sounds like Alva. Anything interesting happen while I was away?
Aaron told us how you tracked down the Oseram supplying Regala with machines. In fact, he's quite adamant about relating the tale at least twice a day. But I can tell it meant a lot that you asked for his help.
I wouldn't have been able to track them down if it wasn't for him. How are things with everyone?
Slightly quieter. Aaron's been busy scouring data on his newest obsession. Apparently the old ones wrestled machines as some kind of performance. Called it metal versus meat. A must-see battle between steel and flesh, as Aaron likes to put it. You'd think we have enough of that going around as it is.
Read anything interesting lately?
I found out the old ones use leaf infusions like the Utaru do. Tea, they call it. Apparently it helped soothe them. That and some sort of scented wax they used to cleanse their aura. Plus something called bubble baths. Me, I think I'll stick to singing to calm the nerves.
I need to get going.
Right. You've retrieved the Omega clearance. That means we'll be going after Hephaestus soon. I'll make sure my gear's ready.
From the look on your face, I'd say the mission was a success.
I got Omega clearance. Is everyone ready to head out to Cauldron Gemini?
As soon as you give the word.
I see all of us settled in nicely.
Our new Quen friend? The moment she laid eyes on the archives, she jumped on them like a long leg.
Yeah, that's Alva for you. Once Gaia is back up and running, I expect you to put all your training to good use.
The seeds have been planted. All they need is a chance to bloom. What? I thought that was pretty good. Zoe liked it.
I'm glad you and Zoe found each other.
Don't forget, you're to blame for that.
Now that I have Omega clearance, we can grab Hephaestus and finally have the advantage over the Zeniths.
Can't wait to see their faces as they stare down a bunch of charging Thunderjaws.
Better them than us, for once. I should go get this to Gaia.
Of course. Let us know when we're needed.
There she is. Heard you had an interesting time at Thebes.
Maniacs, lava, what's not to like?
I'll remember that next time I go traveling.
At least I got what we needed to trap Hephaestus.
Good thing I got my gear ready then. Oh, before I forget. Here. Something to commemorate our mission. We did good together.
Yeah, we did. Have you spoken with Alva yet?
Yeah, when she's not reading the archives like a giddy kid drinking her first ale. She took to that new focus quick, that's for sure. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. But I can see why you two hit it off.
You look tired.
Ha! You never want to hold back, are you? I've just been making sure that I got everything down for this mission of yours. I wouldn't want to be the usual screw-up out there.
You'll do fine, Erend. I should get going.
As soon as you want us heading out to those cauldrons.
I'll give you the heads up.
Well, I think we talked to everybody, because I was gonna come, stuck on a wall there. I was gonna come down here to talk to Beta, but I can't get through this door. I think she's back there. Otherwise, I've totally forgotten how to find her little basement hideaway. Either way, let's go up, talk to Gaia, and get things rolling. Keep rolling, rolling. Is that a...
Welcome back, Aloy.
Who's that song about? Is that, oh my god, fuck me. Fred Durst, yeah, that's a Limp Bizkit song.
Aloy, I know your experience in Thebes was unsettling.
I fucking love Limp Bizkit. I used to get so much shit
Go wrong with Beta
when
and
I was in
Rick?
radio for that.
Will we be
Oh,
able
I
to
love it.
transport you to Gemini?
The rig is complete. The problem is Hephaestus itself. It has accelerated its proliferation throughout the Cauldron network, increasing its power.
But with your sub-functions restored, we can still succeed, right?
Correct. But the net effect is that absorbing Hephaestus will take longer than previously calculated.
How long?
Even with Omega clearance, my current estimate is that the merge will take 35 hours.
And each hour increases the risk of detection by the Zeniths. Two cores. Two overrides. What if the merge were carried out by two clones of Elizabeth Sobek, both armed with Omega clearance? How long then? Half the time?
Hephaestus would be unprepared for the simultaneous labor of two operators, in addition to obvious synergetic efficiencies. Calculating. It would reduce the merge time to approximately 4.5 hours.
Shit. Okay.
Varl, it looks like we're gonna need Beta at Gemini. Do you think you can convince her?
I don't know, but I'll try.
What about our diversion? Are the pulse generators ready?
Only a final test remains. I am confident that if fired in proximity to other cauldrons, the pulses will mask our activities at Gemini from the Zeniths.
Good. As long as Aaron can operate one without shooting himself in the face.
Aloy, you better get down here. Beta's in bad shape.
Okay.
Why is everybody bashing on Erend?
Aloy, I believe Varl is still waiting for you.
I know.
As you wish.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm serious, man. Everybody gives Erend so much crap. I love Erend. He was a bit of a goober in the first game, but I think this one, I don't know. I like him. He's a nice guy.
How's all of us settling in?
As soon as she arrived, Alva was eager to study the data in the archive. A particular file soon caught her
Kind of like
attention.
Alva. I think she's a bit of a goober too, but I like her as well.
To keeping living spaces neat and orderly. I informed her that once I am empowered with the abilities of Hephaestus, I may be able to design such a machine.
Are they talking about Roombas? I was kind of talking over it, but if it's a thing, yeah, it reminded me. Is that a Roomba?
So our plan to capture Hephaestus. Let's go over it again.
As you wish. Thanks to Beta's test, we now know that Hephaestus will not respond to your Alpha clearance.
Which is why I got Ted Farrow's Omega clearance.
Correct. While you were gone, Beta constructed the transport rig and pulse generators. When we get to Gemini, I will need to be installed on one of the facility's cores. The second core is for Hephaestus. Using Omega clearance will allow you to trap it.
And then you'll be able to absorb it.
Not quite. You will need to manually remove Hephaestus's malicious code before the merge.
How long will that take?
Because the work will be split between you and Beta, it will take approximately 4.5 hours.
And during that time, the others will create a distraction for us using the pulse generators, right?
Correct. They will each take position at a cauldron door and fire off their device. The energy surge should mask our activities until the merge is complete.
And then we'll have everything we need to defeat the Zeniths. Sounds like a plan. So I, found Thebes.
Or are we going to talk about the
What do you
mutant?
think Ted would have done if his life extension treatments had worked?
It seems he convinced himself it was his duty to guide future humans. Given the tribal nature of new humans, and his ability to use Omega clearance on the terraforming system, I imagine he would have convinced one or more tribes to worship him as their patriarchal deity.
Okay. Yep, glad that didn't happen.
I don't know. I thought his whole mutant thing was a pretty good... I really wish they would have shown it to us. I mean, just by the sound, it sounds something like from Cronenberg or some just horrible horror monstrosity.
Aside from Gaia Prime and Thebes,
Kind of like what everybody became in Rick and Morty's universe with the when Rick gave Morty that
to live out their lives. Do you know what happened to it?
Oh God, what it was that it was like a perfume or something that was going to get him and Jessica to hook up. They completely fucked up the universe and went to a different one, if I remember correctly.
Did the Pharaoh Plague find them?
Unknown. My connection to the facility was abruptly severed.
I should be...
All right, let's get out of here. Yeah, like earlier though, I still think that they're giving Erend some too much crap. I mean, he's even starting to doubt himself. I don't think he deserves that. There we go. Almost got all those skills. Oh wow, man, we've almost got everything. I've been playing around in the arena since last video. It's okay.
Aloy.
You know, it's kind of nice that it refunds all of your items after you use it, and then after you complete every challenge, there's a like an extra challenge where it has a restricted gear set, and then you know you go fight a group of machines. It's not bad. Not super interesting, but it's not bad. It's fun to play with.
I don't think anything will convince her to go.
We don't have a choice.
Good luck.
Beta, you have to come with us. It's the only way. It's one mission. The most important one. We need you. Tell me why you won't go. What if they take me back? Alone, in a cell again. Their slave. Forever.
How many times have we had these dialogue options in this game? They did it in the first one a little bit more than this one, but I don't think this whole thing should have been involved in this game. I just don't see the point of, it's the, look at it logically, this, or emotionally. I don't think it should have been in this game. I don't think it should have been in the original either, because they don't do anything with it. There's not like a morality system. It doesn't change much.
We have a solid plan.
It doesn't work for me.
To come up with it.
I don't think it works in game either.
The probability that the Zeniths discover us is high, but with you, that risk is much less. We'll get Hephaestus, get out, and come back here. It'll be okay. No! You can't guarantee that. I told you from the beginning we'll never beat them. It's hopeless. Beta. Leave me alone! You don't understand!
Just hit her. Knock her out and drop her in the place that you need her.
You're right. I don't understand. We have the same genes, the same mind, the same heart.
Do you?
So why can't you find the strength to do what has to be done? Like Elizabeth would. Don't you think I've thought about that?
Like do twins have the same brain and same heart?
I don't know what you have that I don't.
Well, I mean, are we speaking also heart in the metaphorical sense?
You were raised as an outcast, shunned, and isolated just like me, so what's the difference? What's my defect?
Well, 'cause you're not the same person. You don't have the same heart. Your upbringing isn't even anywhere near the same. Shund or whatever. She had Rost. Rost. There we go. Are we gonna address him? There we go.
Beta. You don't have a defect. Beta. Look, it's not a piece of Elizabeth. The difference is, I had him. Rost. He raised you, trained you, but he was never warm or loving. The day he died, the day he gave you that charm, he was going to abandon you. He wanted me to embrace the tribe. But then he gave his life for mine. He loved me in his own way. And that was enough. What did it feel like? It was like having the strength.
No, you don't get to do this now.
It's still there. Even now I hear him in my head when things get bad. But it looks impossible. Look deeper. And then fight like you can win.
You don't get to do this shit now. You've been almost completely ignoring Rost this entire game, going, I'm Elizabeth Sobek's daughter or clone daughter or whatever the fuck. No. It's just like telling her you have the same mind, same heart. No, you don't. I mean, unless you're talking about, like I said, like genetically or whatever, sure.
We'll find another
But
way.
you don't think the same. You don't feel the same. They are not, you're speaking metaphysical concepts, not genetic.
Like
I'm
you
talking
said,
over dialogue, I'm sorry.
odds are in our favor if I do. We have to succeed. But you have to promise me one thing. Yes, of course. If it goes bad, if the Zeniths find us, I don't want to be their slave again. Do you understand? Okay. Promise? I promise. I could use as much time as you can give me to study up on the merge, to make it as efficient as possible. I'll be ready when you are. I swear.
Really like the music here. It's really pretty. The music in this game is very well done.
Aloy, whenever you're ready, come speak to me and I'll ask the others to make final preparations for the mission.
But no, like I was gonna say there, I really don't think that the whole thing with Rost is the difference. That's what's, it's completely undercut, as I said, by the fact that she's barely addressed Ross this entire game. She has barely had any meaningful interaction with Beta in any, like I said, in a meaningful way.
You could just talk to me every second of the day.
Hell, she barely not barely throughout this entire game she has almost, as I said, addressed herself as Elizabeth Sobek, not her own person. It just, or treating Elizabeth Sobek like a mother, like something more than just where her genetics come from. And it bugs the shit out of me. So this, oh look, it's all the strike pieces. And I'm not, look back here, I wonder, do they, does it fill up as I get all the strike pieces, or, okay guys, here's, oh, maybe I'm missing a couple. Because here's some more strike pieces. What was I about to say? I'm going to run around, talk to everybody. Again, I'll try and timestamp it in the comments. We'll pick up whatever quest this is over here, and then we'll go out, do Katalo's mission, and see where that leaves us before we continue on with the plot.
So, Aloy, are you well?
Had a bit of an issue with Beta. It's better now, though.
I'm not surprised.
Really? Why not?
I once knew a warrior who discovered he had a brother late in life. It was deeply uncomfortable for him.
Did he ever get over it?
In time. But not before the two siblings nearly killed each other in a single combat challenge.
Ah. Well, at least I avoided that. You nervous about the mission ahead?
If I live, it will be in victory. If I die, it will be in battle. What matters most is that you achieve your objective.
I'll do my best. Think you're ready to put all your training to the test?
I am Tenakth. I am always ready.
I should go get ready.
I await your orders.
Hey, we'll be going after Hephaestus soon. You good with the plan?
I've already got the location of my assigned cauldron.
Good.
I heard you and Beta had a talk.
News travels fast.
It wasn't exactly a quiet conversation.
There were just things that needed to be said.
A healthy crop to those who clear the weeds between them, as the Utaru say.
You look like you have something on your mind.
We're going to war soon. And war is something I promised myself I'd left behind in the Red Raids. But the more of your data I go through, every voice I hear, every word I read from her ancient past, it makes me realize just how much life was given so that ours could flourish. Fighting for that gift, it's our responsibility. If we fail, it was all for naught.
Helps to know you're not alone.
For a moment there, you sounded like Varl.
I don't know what you're talking about. I should go.
As soon as you intend to leave for Gemini,
You'll hear about it. Hey, I thought I'd check in before leaving for Gemini.
Are you sure we shouldn't be checking up on you? Whatever went on between you and Beta sounded intense. Not that I'm judging. Forge knows all the screws flew loose every time Mercer and I fought.
I think we'll be fine from now on.
I'm glad to hear it.
After we get Hephaestus, we'll be taking the fight to the Zeniths. So, no more reading.
It wasn't that bad. Not really. Besides, going through all that data helped me realize something. You know, the soldiers, the ones that fought the Pharaoh machines so Gaia could be built, they were fighting a battle that couldn't be won. Not with all the weapons in the world. I think most of them realized that, whether anyone said it or not. They still did it, though. They bought time for all the eggheads working to save the future. Our future. As long as I can do that for you, I'll consider myself a success.
Thank you, Erend. I'm glad you're with me.
Yeah, okay, enough. I'm gonna get emotional.
Anybody take you up on that ale you brought yet?
Zoe can't stand the smell of it. I tried Alva, but I don't think she knows what taking a break means. And I'm not putting Varl anywhere near that stuff after that victory party in Meridian.
What about Katalo?
Now there's a man that can hold his liquor. Pretty sure we downed half a keg. We had a good chat, I think.
I should go.
Same here. I got a date with a cauldron to prepare for.
Aloy, everything okay with you and Beta? It sounded like you guys had a, lively conversation.
We just had a lot to talk about.
Does this mean she's coming with us to Gemini?
It does. I hope you're ready to rein in the most stubborn AI of all time.
That's what all this was for, wasn't it?
Hephaestus won't go down quietly.
Hephaestus is just a program that's lost its way. We are fighting for our survival. I can always call upon the goddess if you're nervous.
Funny. You were right, you know, about keeping Rost's memories buried. I guess part of me thought he was holding me back, because he wanted me to be a Nora. But the truth is, he gave me a lot. And I took him for granted.
He was a good man. He raised you well.
I hope firing off those pulse generators will be enough to distract the Zeniths.
It'll work. It has to.
Always optimistic, huh?
Nah, just stubborn. It's a good quality to have when dealing with you.
Yeah, right. Any last findings you want to share before leaving?
Not really. Though I've reached a decision.
Oh?
When we put Gaia together, I want to return to the Nora. Spread what I've learned.
You think they'll listen to you?
In time, I believe so.
If anyone can make it happen, it's you, Varl. What will you and Zoe do if you go back to the Embrace?
I hope she'll come with me. At least for a while. And I'll go with her to Plainsong too. She'll probably want to talk to her people about all this as well. We'll figure it out.
I know you will. How does everyone seem to you?
Anxious, but ready. I heard Kotallo ask for Alva's help with his pulse generator. And I know he's been helping her with a few fighting techniques, just in case.
I hope they aren't needed.
Like I said, just in case.
I'm glad you're coming with me, Varl.
Sure there's no urge to run off alone in there somewhere?
No more running. I hope I'm not interrupting.
Not at all. I was just studying the pulse generator schematics. The ones Gaia and Beta built. The craftsmanship is remarkable. Is everything all right? It sounded like there was an issue with Beta and the mission.
Not anymore. We just needed to talk some things through.
To understand one another is to embrace truth. Oh, and if you have a moment, there's something I could use your help with.
Have you spoken with Zoe at all?
A little bit, but I did hear her singing with Varl not too long ago. I don't think they noticed. Zoe seemed so free when she did it. Like every emotion she had was taking flight in song. And she looked happier because of it. I felt so dull and nervous in comparison.
You should ask Zoe to teach you sometime. About Utaru music.
Maybe.
If you need anything before heading out to the Cauldrons.
You have nothing to worry about. Gaia's explained your plan in detail, as expected from such an efficient AI. I've even received some very, succinct combat advice from Kotallo. You know, in case the Zeniths show up.
What kind of advice?
He, told me to run.
For now. We'll even the odds soon enough. Any more data catch your eye?
All of it? I have so much to study up on. Years, actually. I'm particularly interested in the Odyssey. We knew the ancestors had made it to the moon. In fact, we theorized some of them had settled on it. But Sirius is way farther than that. And we thought journeying across the ocean would be the feat of a lifetime. The sheer calculations needed for space travel, it's overwhelming to think about.
Even so, the Quen are way ahead of other tribes when it comes to understanding this stuff. Where I grew up, everyone thought that stars were sparks that rose from a fire lit by the goddess to guide us through the night. Must be strange to think that some of the ancestors your tribe reveres are still alive. And here on Earth, right now.
Yeah, it is. Part of me's curious to know who else besides Eric Visser might be among them. Maybe Nikita Arand? We call her the Spark. The legacy tells us she brought unlimited energy to the Old Ones. Or Sung Jiao, whom we call the Healer. It is said she found new ways to extend the ancestors' lifespans. But my curiosity fades when I think of how different our view of Visser was compared to the reality that you experienced. Perhaps it is better not to know.
You mentioned there was something you needed help with?
Yes. So as I was sifting through data from the greenhouse, I found references to an old world system back in the Great Delta. It's called Leviathan. My people discovered it decades ago. A sprawling network of river gates and a labyrinth of underground tunnels. The legacy revealed that the Old Ones used it to control flooding. But we've never gotten it to work. The whole thing is shut down. But the data from the greenhouse mentions the research facility where Leviathan was created. It's in San Francisco.
Another Pharaoh facility?
No. Leviathan was a project by Eileen Sasaki, another ancestor. So the legacy tells us, anyway, if we can acquire that data, we might be able to fix the system back in the Great Delta. Every year, my sister gets terrified when the long rains begin. With Leviathan, maybe she won't have to be.
Okay. So, where in San Francisco is this facility?
That's the thing. The data doesn't say where, exactly. But one of our diviners has been exploring the ruins. He might know. Would you come with me? I have a feeling that wherever this facility is, well, you're much better at fighting machines than I am.
Of course. I'll let you know when I'm in landfall.
Thank you, Aloy.
I should go. Make sure you talk to Gaia if you have any questions about the pulse generators.
May your path lead to truth.
And, like I said, I'll let you know when I'm in landfall. We'll find the data you're after.
I appreciate it.
We will do that mission with Alva at the start of the next video, but instead... Not instead, but we'll do the one for Katala right now.
Tusk site, where we agreed to meet. Want to test that new arm of yours?
I'll be there shortly.
You know, just think...
Thank you for waiting.
Maybe now you can tell me what we're doing here?
Not just yet. Follow me, please.
Just think what they've done with this world. I mean, you know, when I really thought about it, because, you know, like out here, you know, it's like San Francisco, so, you know, this is around California. Go down here and boom, you're in Vegas. Which, look, I know California and Vegas are, you know, it's actually fairly easy to get from certain places in California to Vegas. You'll hit Prim first, but that's something.
You took your sweet time telling me what you wanted to do to the bulwark. Consider this my revenge.
Fair enough.
Lost my train of thought there. How to phrase it? This is one of those that clearly the world is smaller.
This is it.
What am I looking at?
Oh, you'll see. Come.
I don't know. They kind of did the same thing with Death Stranding.
To test the arm on that.
Frostclaw.
It has menaced the valley
Scorcher.
for some time. Killed more than a few of the Sky Clan. But no longer.
I'm honored to help.
Have I mentioned how much I love Katalo? I think you're missing a finger there, dude.
After you.
I'm saying, man, he is quite easily
Let's see how
my
this thing
favorite
lets it taste of
character in this
metal.
game.
Should use shock ammo.
But I gotta say, I like Alva too. I really like Erend. Really, I like a lot of the characters in this game. Zoe's fun. A little bland, but I get it. She's kind of supposed to be the balance to oh my god, why am I blanking on his name?
End them! Honor is everything! I will not fall to you! This one's mine!
Varl. There we go. Jesus Christ. I feel so bad I couldn't remember his name. He was such a big part of the first game. But yeah, he's kind of hot-headed, so I guess that was kind of a whole point of her character. She was supposed to be a little bit more on the balanced side. About its heart.
Well, I think it's safe to say the new arm works fine.
Agreed.
Then why are you taking it off?
This is what I am now. What I overcame. Anything else feels wrong. Like a disguise. I'll use the new arm when I need it, but the rest of the time, I will simply be myself.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay.
You have my thanks for doing this with me. Here. Something to mark our victory.
Thank you. I'll see you later then.
The Ten be with you, Aloy.
I understand that. It's also clearly they're doing it that way, so any cutscenes they do with Katalo, they don't have to worry about, oh, did they do, we don't have to animate a scene, we don't have to, this way we don't have to animate a scene with him with the arm and without the arm, based on whether or not the players did that side mission. It's clearly one of those sort of situations. But no, final thoughts. Finishing my earlier kind of thought about the size of the world. They're doing a more compacted version, kind of like what they did in Death Stranding with Sam moving across the world. Though I would say I think it works better in Death Stranding because he doesn't move as quickly. He moves a lot slower. It's the size of the world. Yeah, it's clearly a more condensed version. If he's supposed to be moving from Washington D.C. to the West Coast, but the game itself still felt like the world felt huge. It felt, while it didn't feel like you hitchhiked across the entirety of the United States, it still felt you traveled a great distance over the course of the game. So I think it worked a little better on that one. But how to put this? I'm sure so many people are like, well, AJ, you're now just figuring out they did that with this game. No, I guess I always kind of knew it, but I just kind of thought of it and just wanted to talk about it for a second, like how the game world, like the size of it feels and everything. In my opinion, I think it could have been done better, but with how quickly Aloy moves around and everything, I think there's only so much you can do because this game is clearly not like Death Stranding. Death Stranding is all about slowly moving across the world and, you know, transporting materials and everything. So they're two games that are in totally different realms of genre and everything. So, other than that, yeah, I still stand by my opinions on Rost. I not saying like, oh, they did him dirty and like, oh, you know, he's not getting any credit for the place he took in Aloy's life, but man, I'm not a big fan of how they handled him and how now he's suddenly, oh well, Varl's right, I have been burying my emotions. Like we've not seen any of that in this game. It's always been Elizabeth Sobek, oh, she's so wonderful, I come from Elizabeth Sobek, meh, 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 meh. Even though she had never met her or spoken to her, Rost was the one who raised her, you know, instead of all this admiration and deification of Elizabeth. I'd almost wish they had more scenes of her thinking about Rost and what he did, even if it was her kind of, like Varl said, burying that side of, burying those emotions, you know, almost thinking not poorly of him, but almost like, you know, there be some mixed feelings there. I think it could have been done a lot better. I think it could have been relayed to the player much better. It just, all in all, it could have been a much better section. So, alright guys, like I said, I'm going to close out here. Next one, we will start helping Alva, and unless there's another side mission to be done, we'll head into the main story after that. So as always, thanks for watching. Social media in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. But until then, I'm out.